Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sky Talk Football. Today, we're diving deep into one of the biggest transfer sagas of the summer. Victor Osimhen to Manchester United. With a £64 million release clause reportedly approved by Napoli, everything seems lined up for a blockbuster move. But, as with many high-profile transfers, there's one massive obstacle still standing in the way. In this detailed report, we'll unpack the latest developments, the clause details, Osimhen's personal ambitions, what's holding up the deal, and the possible outcomes. Let's dive in. Fire WHO is Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen, 25, is currently one of the most lethal strikers in European football. Born in Nigeria and rising to stardom at Napoli, Osimhen has become known for his blistering pace, exceptional movement, aerial dominance, and relentless pressing. In the 2022-23 Serie A season, he fired Napoli to the Scudetto with 26 goals in 32 matches, becoming the top scorer in the league. His performances also earned him a nomination for the Ballon d'Or, and he won the CAF Player of the Year. He's been on the radar of Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Paris Saint-Germain, but the Red Devils seem to be the most persistent suitors. Money bag the £64 million release clause, approved. Here's where it gets interesting. Sources across Italy and England confirm that Napoli president Aurelio De Laurentiis is willing to part ways with Osimhen this summer, provided his release clause, reported at around £64 million, €75 million, is triggered. This is a significant reduction from the £112 million valuation Napoli placed on him last summer, a fee which scared away Premier League clubs like United and Chelsea. Reports suggest that United have now received the green light to proceed with a £64 million deal, a price they're willing to pay for a striker of Osimhen's caliber. Red circle why Manchester United want Osimhen. Manchester United's interest in Osimhen is long-standing, and it's easy to understand why. Last season, United struggled up front. While Rasmus Højlund showed glimpses of brilliance, he's still young, and the burden of leading the line alone weighed heavily on him. The team lacked a consistent goalscorer, a predator in the box, someone who could change games with a moment of brilliance. Osimhen offers proven goal scoring in a top-5 league, elite athleticism and versatility, a pressing style that fits Ten Hag's philosophy, experience in Champions League-level competition. Pairing him with Højlund or rotating between the two could transform United's attacking threat. Warning: one major problem: wages and personal terms. So, if the release clause is approved, why hasn't the deal happened? Here lies the core problem: Victor Osimhen's wage demands. Flying money. Current salary: Osimhen earns around €10 minus 12 million net per year at Napoli, which is about £300,000 per week net. To match that in the UK's tax system, United would need to pay him around £500,000 per week gross. This wage places him in the bracket of United's highest earners, even above Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford. And with INEOS planning a more sustainable and performance-based wage structure, such a demand doesn't align with the club's long-term goals. Simply put, United are willing to pay the transfer fee, but they're unwilling to break the bank for wages, especially with financial fair play (FFP) looming. Trophy Champions League, another roadblock. There's also the question of Champions League football. Victor Osimhen has publicly stated that he wants to compete at the highest level, particularly in the UEFA Champions League. Unfortunately, Manchester United finished the 2024-25 season outside the UCL qualification spots, only clinching a Europa League spot after a late surge. While the Europa League offers decent exposure, it's not the elite stage Osimhen craves. This could sway his decision towards clubs like PSG or even Arsenal, who have Champions League spots secured. Handshake: Osimhen's stance: waiting for United. According to Fabrizio Romano and other trusted sources, Osimhen is still open to a move to the Premier League, with Manchester United being his preferred destination. Rio Ferdinand added fuel to the fire, recently stating, "Greater than, Osimhen must be waiting for Manchester United. I don't know if they're going to come." That's the problem. He has already turned down lucrative offers from Saudi Arabia, including a £1 million per week deal from Al Hilal. This shows his ambition to remain in Europe and compete at the top. But his patience won't last forever. Abacus United's options. Pay or move on. This puts Manchester United in a tricky position. They could 1. Restructure their wage system to accommodate Osimhen, and risk upsetting the current squad. 2. Offer performance-based incentives to bridge the gap in base wages. 3. Move on to cheaper alternatives. Names like Joshua Zirkzee, Ivan Toney, and Jonathan David have all been linked as potential alternatives, players who are cheaper both in transfer fees and salary expectations. But none of them match Osimhen's quality or proven pedigree. Handshake the new transfer team, Sir Jim Ratcliffe and INEOS. The presence of Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his INEOS team has brought a more disciplined approach to transfers. They're focused on young, hungry talents, smart spending, reducing the club's bloated wage bill, avoiding another Sanchez or Pogba situation. So even if the fans and manager want Osimhen, the board may opt for financial prudence over marquee spending. Italy. Napoli's position. Open to sale. Napoli are aware that Osimhen wants to leave and are prepared to sell, but they want the deal done early in the window to secure a replacement. Reports from Italy claim new manager Antonio Conte has already drawn up a shortlist of strikers, including Romelu Lukaku and Artem Dovbyk. Napoli will not engage in a summer-long saga. They want clarity by mid-July, or they may look elsewhere, and sell Osimhen to the highest bidder. Balance scale. PSG, Arsenal, or Liverpool, threats. Should United hesitate, other clubs could swoop in. PSG are in the market for a striker following Kylian Mbappe's departure to Real Madrid. Arsenal have been linked with Osimhen but are prioritizing midfield and wide reinforcements. Liverpool could make a surprise move depending on Salah's future. Chelsea, though interested before, are not considered front-runners due to FFP issues. Osimhen may favor Manchester United's project, but Champions League and wages could tip the scale. Crystal ball predicted outcome. Here's a breakdown of how things could go. Scenario. Likelihood outcome. United match wage demands. Moderate. Osimhen signs. Marquee summer deal. United offer bonuses, incentives. High compromise. Deal still possible. United refuse to budge. High transfer stalls or collapses. Another club swoops in. Medium. Osimhen goes elsewhere. Napoli increase pressure. High quick decision forced by mid-July. Soccer ball fans react. United fans are divided on the issue. Some believe Osimhen is the exact striker they need, the missing piece. Others argue his wage demands are too high, especially when the club is trying to rebuild sensibly. On social media, the sentiment is greater than, sign Osimhen, no matter the cost. We've waited too long to get this right. vs. Great player, but not worth blowing our entire wage structure. Speaking head. Final thoughts. Victor Osimhen is, by all accounts, the perfect striker for Manchester United. The price is fair. The timing is right. The interest is mutual. But modern football isn't that simple. The one thing standing in the way of this dream transfer is money, more specifically, wage structure and Champions League ambition. Manchester United now face a defining choice. Bend slightly to get their man. Or stick to a new structure and risk missing out again. Either way, fans won't wait forever. This saga is just getting started, and the clock is ticking. Thanks for watching, listening. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't